Ever since I was a child, I have always wanted a dog to keep me company and protect me, a watchdog. Much like democratic society needs mass media to be their watchdog, a guardian of the public opinion. Media has been a faithful protector of the United States, a paragon of democracy. Our founding fathers understood the importance of the press, outlining its freedom in the First Amendment, rooting it in America's beliefs. Famously worded by Thomas Jefferson, "Were it left to me to decide whether we should have a government without newspapers or newspapers without government, I should not hesitate to prefer the latter." The power of the press is often referred to as the fourth branch of government. Most people understand it as an essential liberty, but it is often difficult to understand why. Examining societies that lack a free press can help illuminate its essential function in a free society. Take North Korea, for example. The North Korean media is heavily censored and controlled. All media is owned by the state, with propaganda being pandered off as journalism. The message it sends is used to manipulate the people into ignorance and submission to the government and its leader. We see the condition this state has left its people, struck by hunger and poverty, unaware of a way out. Even in our own society, journalism, a beacon of light in the tumultuous sea of public opinion, has lost its guiding light. We are beginning to see the cracks in its centuries-old foundation. The media serves as a conduit between the governors and the governed, and its role as a mitigator remains deeply ingrained. However, instead of serving as a moderator, they sometimes fan the flames of rival political groups. In long-standing democracies, the media has become a market for the shallow and sensational, focusing on stories that exploit and exaggerate to attract viewers. Our media's message is not perfect, but we should not take this freedom for granted. Looking back on the history of media and how it shaped our democracy makes that fact clear. In the 19th and early 20th centuries, the most dominant form of media was print, books, and newspapers. With the innovation of photography, journalism evolved further. Photography brought reality to paper, documenting events for all to see and believe. Photos could convey information and powerful emotions without the use of words. Visual media, perhaps the most important form of media, was changing how people viewed the world, revealing a truth that people cannot just read. Television dramatically reshaped media, revolutionizing the industry. American pioneer of radio and television, David Sarnoff, predicted that television will be a mighty window through which people in all walks of life, rich and poor alike, will be able to see for themselves not only the small world around us, but the larger world of which we are a part. As more people got access to TV, the public was able to witness acts of discrimination and terrorism with their own eyes. The widely publicized assassination of President Kennedy brought television media to the forefront. Americans experienced the aftermath of his death in real time, seeing the events unfold before their eyes. In an article, John Herkowitz states, "Newspapers and radio were the main sources of news the day before the assassination, but the pendulum had swung. The American public witnessed this and other atrocious acts of violence in their own country, outraged and moved by what they saw. Media became an outlet for change, providing power to the civil rights movements and pushing the envelope for equality. Iconic photos of the demonstration at Kelly Ingram Park hit the papers, showing how Dr. Martin Luther King took his movement to Birmingham, met with resistance when he only brought peace. There were photos of demonstrators being hosed down by firemen, innocents being packed into a paddy wagon, and other injustices of the highest order. On television networks across the nation, Bloody Sunday, perhaps one of the most tragic events in American history, was broadcast. 48 million people watched in horror as peaceful protesters in the name of equality were beaten and arrested unjustly. Police, people thought of as the protectors of justice, were using tear gas and nightsticks, suppressing a cry for peace. Visual media brought the truth to television sets across the nation. The unimpacted became involved, shocked by what they were seeing, rallied by images where words could never move them. This amount of support by people of different backgrounds and faiths was never seen before in American history. By turning the movement into a televised morality play, Dr. King was able to appeal to people of faith across the country, many of whom began to join his cause, PBS reported. The government was compelled to act, providing us with the 15th Amendment, which gave African American men the right to vote, paving the way for future civil rights movements that would give every American citizen the same freedom. Media's role in the civil rights movement was essential, promoting liberty and justice by showing the American public the truth. The photos and broadcasts plucked the public's heartstrings, and in return, they showed their support en masse. Pulitzer-winning author Hank Klivenoff declared, "It would have been many, many, many more years of turmoil, dehumanization, and death in the South, but it was ultimately the mere presence of that media coverage that led to the change." To this day, visual media continues to expose injustice in our society. Throughout its history, we can expect the media to deliver the truth to the public. Like any watchdog, media has to be loyal to its founding principles. As its owner, we must guide and nurture it, finding for ourselves the truth in its universe of exposés and investigations. It's time we're led ashore through this sea and restore the light to the media's beacon of freedom. Thank you.